Have you ever added your job title or position to an email or something visible to impress somebody else? Have you ever worked your fanny off to achieve some kind of success or status symbol, like a visible representation of your success? Have you ever compared your success to the success of someone else and said, well, I'm not as successful as they are because they have, this car or this house, so their income must be more than mine, or they must be doing better than I am? Have you ever done that? I've done all of those things, y'all. And that's why I'm doing this series on self-worth. I place my worth in so many things outside of myself for a really long time. So I'm sharing some of those ways that I've become aware that I was, seeking seeking worth outside of myself. And I'm sharing those, which are not easy to admit. But I'm sharing because I'm hoping that I wasn't aware. For so long, I wasn't aware. So I'm hoping that by sharing this, that maybe people that aren't aware might say, oh, wait, now I do that. So let me lean into this a little more and figure out what's going on maybe underneath the surface. So here's where this really played out for me with my business. So I have a business and we go to these conferences and we get a lanyard. And on your lanyard has your name, obviously, but then there are these little stickers or banners or whatever that they add your title. So I show up, and I don't even remember which one this was, but I showed up, I get my lanyard, and they're like, "Ooh, we're out of that title, the title that I came to that convention or conference being." And they're like, "But if you want that, you can go stand in the line over here." And y'all hate lines. Like, I don't want to go anywhere where I'm gonna have to wait. But I waited about 15 minutes in this line to get this title to go on my lanyard because I wasn't about to walk around that conference without letting people know, why I deserve to be there. And the crazy thing is I was like, I realized while I was waiting in the line that obviously mattered to me. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. See, now I know what motivates me, even if it was embarrassing to admit that. What I failed to recognize is that that was something outside of myself. And it was never going to be enough. Because yes, I got there and I did get to walk around with that, but there's still an emptiness part of that if you're not clear on what you bring to the table. If it's about you being enough, to be at the table because you've got this word attached to your lanyard, like that really isn't self-worth. I did the same thing. I worked my fanny off with a team of people to earn a very visible sign of success with my company, which was a Lexus. And I never felt I felt there was a lot of imposter syndrome for me with that, driving that Lexus. I never felt deserving of that. I think a lot of it had to do with, like, I thought that I would, when I got there, when I had this symbol, that I would feel differently on the inside. And that was because I was attaching my worth to a vehicle, which is always going to feel empty. And when I first started my business, I will say that the paycheck was really good for me. And I never believed that I was worth a big paycheck. Like, I really didn't know my worth. But then when I started getting really good paychecks and I started attaching my worth to the income. So rather than saying, well, I'm getting an income because I'm offering value, my value became attached to the paycheck that I was getting. And the paychecks really started to feel empty again. And then just comparing my success by looking at, someone else's sign of success, that was just that always led to emptiness too, because it was like, okay, well, success is this. Like, it was never about just being okay with who I am now. And one of the things I think that's helped me with recognizing this humility it takes to start at the beginning of something, like to be seen starting at the bottom, which is what I've had to do with this account, with my Selfish as a Mother account on Instagram. I've had to learn to be okay with who I am in that space because I'm starting at the beginning. It's obvious that I'm starting at the beginning. It's going to take some time. And I believe that my growth with that business will reflect the work I do on the inside. I just don't believe that success, or at least lasting success, is a result of anything that you can do on the outside. It all starts here. And if you do, gain those things externally, it will always lead to disappointment if you haven't done the work on yourself on the inside. I'm worthy because I was born. Like, there is a reason for my life, and I have value to offer because I'm here. Not because I made this paycheck or I drive this car or I, have this income. So those aren't easy things to admit, but if you catch yourself or you are aware, you become aware, there's something more going on. There's more work that needs to be done here on the inside so that you quit making your worth about anything or anyone on the outside. So I hope this awareness of how we can look for our self-worth in professionally or professional settings, I hope this was helpful to you. And I want you to share this and subscribe to this channel. And do me a favor. The very first woman, because I'm all about supporting women and empowering them, the very first woman that comes to your mind right now, like whoever's in your head, I want you to send this link to them. And I want you to share a genuine compliment. Like, how have they impacted your life? Where do they add value in your life? What are you grateful for them? Let's lift each other up, because now more than ever, I think we need it. I hope y'all will be here next week when I continue this series on self-worth.